It's been more than a year and we finally have that second season of The Umbrella Academy. And I know we binged it in about 48 hours. And in our real take today, we're going to let you know how it compares to the first season and whether this is truly living up to the hype. Is it worth all the praise that the critics have showered upon it? Stay tuned. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind our viewers to please like, share, and subscribe if you like our videos. And don't forget to hit that bell because that'll give you instant notifications of every video we upload. I also want to mention our sponsor for this video, NurseLoves.com, your one-stop shop for nurse appreciation gifts, which offer original ideas for t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, pins, and more. They use only the best materials and they offer expedient customer service. Check them out at NurseLoves.com.
The Umbrella Academy Season 2 once again brings back that great original cast from Season 1. That group of offbeat, audacious misfits are back once again to fight a new threat, this time though in a different time period, the great decade that is the 60s. So I think that as a filmmaker, it's always a little risky to set a show in a different time period, especially one that is so well known like the 60s, right?
For sure.
But one thing that this show does very well, in my opinion, is that it really bridges some of the issues from the 60s and makes them relevant to today, right?
Right.
I mean, this is a show that really deals with some in-depth topics, starting with the civil rights movement, the assassination of JFK, the Cold War, for example, and just a lot of other issues, including racism, sexism, segregation, homosexuality, gender roles. And this is a show that presents both some satirical undertones of those topics and also a serious study of those topics.
Right. Like you mentioned the satirical aspect of it. I mean, really, they do kind of poke fun at certain things as far as how they were treated back then. And we look back at it now and we can't believe that as a society we were like that. But it does take a serious turn when they look at all these different movements. And for me, I appreciated that. And I think that sets the stage and is beautiful context for a lot of the character growth in this season. And I tell you what, Season 2 was all about the character.
Definitely. I love the direction in which each of these characters is taken, because essentially what happens is that each of them kind of turn up in the 60s at some point or another in the 60s, right? And they're separated, right? And they kind of have to find each other. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible so as to not spoil anything. But for example, Vanya, she ends up at a barn helping out a family, sort of like a babysitter, tending to this kid that has some sort of mental disability. It might be autism, it might be something else. We have Luther, who has become a boxer. We have Klaus, who has become sort of like this hippie, you know, cult leader. And we have Five basically trying to find all of them.
Trying to bring all together and get them.
And let's not forget Allison, who, you know, is now kind of like a civil rights activist, right? So very interesting way in which the characters have merged themselves into the time period.
Right, and you see them finding their identities, and then it's really interesting the dynamic of when they come back together, how much they're willing to cling to the lives they've created and or maybe move forward. You know, this show starts with Diego in an insane asylum, and he meets someone there that actually is really the impetus for his character growth. And you know, I like in this show that you get to see more of Diego, and really you just get to see more of everyone. You know? I mean, this was kind of the characterization that I wanted in Season 1, although I thought Season 1 was fantastic as well.
Yeah, I did too. And poor Diego, man, he has it rough in this season.
He does.
I felt bad for Diego in this season.
Right, and through those struggles that Diego goes through, you really get to see the acting range of David Castaneda, the actor who plays him. Five continues to be my favorite character, who is fantastically portrayed by Aidan Gallagher. I mean, you talk about a teenager who has to channel this older, kind of arrogant assassin who thinks that everyone is stupid and he's smarter than everyone. I mean, that you can't just find anyone to do that, and for a teenager to do that is astonishingly convincing. I mean, granted, Five doesn't have much of an arc in this show, but to see the way Gallagher portrayed him, I thought was a tremendous treat.
Yes, I absolutely agree. But let's talk about Klaus, because Klaus, I think, definitely is, first of all, great actor, a dynamic character for sure. Goes through a great transformation. I mean, what did you think of Klaus?
I mean, I thought it was fantastic. Easily my favorite arc of the show. To see him walk that path of like self-discovery and enlightenment, which is kind of ironic because he's supposed to be enlightening people, but he found a way to, you know, kind of find himself, right?
Yeah.
That to me was the best part of this show.
He is deeply wounded as a character and has some internal struggles to deal with, you know, like his alcoholism, for example. But he makes good choices throughout the show to help others, and in doing so, he's sort of helping himself at the same time.
Wow, that's
so
some really deep stuff,
appreciated that. Yeah, I really like Klaus.
Yeah, and to see that, you know, that interplay between he and Ben, you know, Ben trying to be that foil, that
that's
that conscious.
one of the most fun things about the show, right?
Yeah, and I could have watched an entire season of that.
I definitely don't want to forget to mention Kate Walsh, who plays the handler, who I think really has a great time in this show. I mean, what a field day this actress has, just kind of like being evil, you know, genuinely evil, creepily evil, funny evil, just all around evil.
Eating fish evil.
Yeah, like a great performance. And I do want to give a quick shout out as well to Ritu Arya, who plays Lila, newcomer in this show. Big surprises with this character, watch out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on Lila. I mean, she did a great job as an actress, showing all this versatility from someone who has this like checkered past and a multi-layered character. I do want to mention Allison, okay? Allison, I liked her way better this time around. I kind of felt like there was more growth in her character, and she also really embodied a movement during that time while also portraying this character who was extremely confident yet restrained. And you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about when you tune into this show.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely has a role that is gutsy for sure, considering the conflicts that she's facing, right? I really like the way that the show is structured. It may be considered a little bit predictable, but I think this is a good predictable, if that makes any sense, because every episode really ends with high adrenaline action and some sort of a twist or a reveal, and I really like that because it kept me going on,
definitely makes it bingeable,
wanting to watch the next episode. So I think that it's definitely a bingey show for that reason. And I want to also mention quickly that this show has style to spare. This is a highly stylistic show combined with great music and great humor throughout, and I think that that is what keeps the viewer afloat throughout.
Right, and it really helps embed you into the time period here. It's extremely immersive, and you talk about lighting that kind of gives you that retro feel. Like you said, the music was on point. Granted, some of the songs were really kind of on the nose, but still fun. You know, the costuming, the attire, the set composition, everything was very well done. So yeah, I agree with you. Just like another character. Now, I know we've been heaping a ton of praise on this show, but no show is perfect, right? Just like not every movie is perfect. Even Forrest Gump is not perfect, but anyway, some nitpicks for this show. Number one for me, I kind of felt like a major plot point was rehashed from the first season. Didn't ruin it for me, but I kind of thought that they'd go for a little bit more originality. I don't know if they're trying to stick, you know, perfectly to the comic book or not, but wanted something else there. Secondly, I kind of felt like there was, again, a major development with a minor character that I thought was wasted and kind of screamed plot device. So
yeah, they do have a little bit of a tendency at times to gloss over things in this season.
Right. A lot of coincidences too.
Yes, case in point, I really wanted to know more about the Swedes, whom are the villains in the show, or one of the villains, I guess you could say. I just kind of think that I just didn't get to know who they were, and they were very stoic a lot of the time, and then at other times they showed emotion, and then at other times they didn't, and it was inconsistent for me. The other big issue that I have with the show, and this is probably one of the big reasons why the real rating is not going to be as high, is because I really have a problem with the way in which the characters seem to be able to do something with their powers, but then at other points it's like they can't, and I don't even understand like where the ability of their powers begin and when they end, you know, like sometimes they can do great things with their powers and get out of sticky situations, and then at other times, like, why aren't they using their powers? Like, why aren't they using their powers to solve these issues, you know? Like, what is the problem here, you know? That really bugged me about the show.
So as far as comparing this to the first season, I will have to say that even though the season is better written and has more character depth, I actually enjoyed the first season better only because it's kind of my flavor. You know, if I were, you know, objectively, yes, season 2, better narrative, right? Season 1, for me, just a little more exciting. I will say that I do think it was a genius move for them to integrate a lot of these subplots into the main storyline for, you know, characterization and for context building. But I do wish they would have trimmed down some of those scenes a little bit and maybe added some more time to the sibling dynamic of the Academy and some of the main plot, you know, which, you know, for me, that's why I go to the Umbrella Academy, and that's what I liked most about it.
What makes the Umbrella Academy so much fun is the quirkiness of these characters, you know? They're super unusual, and that's part of the fun of it. And usually that's the case with like a second season, right? Like they take the time to really flesh out the characters more, and that's what this season did well, right? And I just really appreciated the way that the show really took the time to delve into those difficult topics that, you know, were present in the 60s and even through today, focusing on people who are underrepresented, and I really like that about the show. And despite the fact that I had a lot of fun with these actors and their journeys, and I definitely recommend this show 100%, I just feel like there are some inconsistencies that really get in the way, and I really feel like that needs to be fixed. Season 3, heads up, I'm gonna give this season 2 4 reels. I gave season 1 4.5 reels. This is just a little bit, you know, I did not quite enjoy it as much as the first season. I really appreciated the character depth, but I think that the first show just had more attitude to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just felt
it was a little more edgy. This one had more heart.
edgy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow. I am shocked that you're giving it 4 reels. Like, I thought for sure, because you're such a drama guy and this was like oozing with drama, that you would give it instantly 5 reels.
Well, it had enough flaws, I guess.
Wow, okay. Well, I guess I enjoyed it more than you. 4.5 reels for me, guys. You mentioned season 3. I really hope that in season 3 we get to hear a little bit more about the alien connection, the commission, and of course looking at who the, oh, I can't say that because that would be a spoiler, guys.
Oh, good thing that you stopped yourself. That's right. And thanks again for watching, guys. We would love it if you would subscribe, like, and share if you enjoy our videos. And as always, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about this new season of Umbrella Academy. What do you think about the characters? Which character did you like the most?
Yeah, and if you don't want to comment below, tell us on social media. On Facebook, we're at Real Screeners, and on Instagram, we are at real.screeners. And stay tuned for our next real take on, we don't know if it's going to be movies, most likely TV shows.
Who knows?
Everything's getting pushed back to 2021.
Who knows nowadays?
Either way, check us out, guys.